The 5 stones model that I use with my players, there's 5 areas of a man's life, not just you guys, but all of us in here, every single man. There's 5 areas that life is asking you, testing you, to see if you're ready.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Okay, so I mean, if you're here, you've hopefully seen parts 1 through 7. I think this is part 8 of our 9-part series. This one took me a little bit harder, or a little bit more to find. Very, very niche video. Looks like it was posted to an FCA, which is a Fellowship of Christian Athletes thing about his quarterback camp. It's a few years old. I believe this was posted in 2021. I'm just going to verify the date just to be safe. Yes, 3 years ago, February 29th, 2020. So right as the pandemic was starting is when he was getting his QB camp off the ground. My name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage. Thanks for rolling with us. Let's jump right into it.
One of the things that I've done with my guys for the last 5 years, I call it the 5 stones, okay? And I came up with it based off of the story of David and Goliath, okay? But it's not like...
Yeah, just in case you guys don't know, first of all, in all of these videos, we'll be giving Dave Canales his props. Congratulations, Dave Canales, on becoming head coach for the Carolina Panthers. Again, I continue to say you are a prepared man. Another thing that people need to know about you is you are a devout man of faith. This is obviously at a Fellowship for Christian Athletes. It's going to have a little bit more faith in there, so please bear with me. I'm still here to hear the message of our new head coach.
The little guy versus the big guy. David didn't think he was small, guys. He didn't see himself as a little guy, okay? And there's something behind that, okay? There's the Spirit of God that's behind that. There's also a really confident young man who knew who he was. He knew what he was about. He knew what he believed in. He knew how to get things done. When they brought him the news about the giant, he said, oh, he'll just be like one of those bears or lions that I killed. So he's killed wild animals. He's not afraid of this giant. So what does that talk about? It talks about preparation, okay?
That's been my main thing for him. He is prepared. More than anything, Dave Canales is prepared.
Really cool to be in here because just seeing like offensive goals, defensive goals, special teams goals, and some of the different things that they have an approach. And once you're prepared, that gives confidence. That gives trust in your ability. So the 5 stones model that I use with my players, there's 5 areas of a man's life, not just you guys, but all of us in here, every single man. There's 5 areas that life is asking you, testing you, to see if you're ready every single day. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's social, and it's spiritual. That's the 5 stones, 5-stone model. And I promise you guys, if you do nothing to invest in this, they don't get better, and it doesn't stay the same, it gets worse. What happens if you don't work out for 2 days?
Man, or what about 2+ years with me, man? It happens. Getting back to it, starting slow. Going to be starting a fitness journey here soon. Hopefully increase that physical as well. So I definitely understand where he's coming from. Same thing with mental, emotional, spiritual, everything like that. So
a little bit, right? What about 2 weeks? Right? 2 months, 2 years, starts to decline, right? So we don't get better or stay the same. We naturally get worse in all these areas, right? So your mental game, right? Studying, obviously, learning different things, being exposed to the world, figuring the world out, right? Socially, okay? This is a big one for you guys, okay? As you guys are in high school, when you go...
Again, this video is from February of 2020, so take this with a grain of salt. It's a few years old. Just want to make sure that you're, remembering that.
Go to the next level, all the social relationships and the dynamics that you have get really difficult, okay? The older you get, the more challenging this becomes, especially if that's what you choose to do is to start a family and get married, have kids, then it gets really tricky, okay? This one right here for men, you guys, our country has failed us big time. preparing us emotionally, okay? Here's what you guys are told ever since you were little. Suck it up. Stop being a sissy, okay? Quit.
I couldn't agree with this more, Canales. Cook right here. Cook, Canales. You got this.
Crying. That's what you've been told. I was told that. We all were. It's good. It's good to an extent that it helps us to grow, to be able to handle stuff. But guess what? There's a whole other side of that thing. There's a whole other side of that thing where if you're just sucking it up all the time, you're not over here creating an ability for you to feel what others feel. Does anybody know what that word's called? Feeling what other people feel.
Is it empathy, Coach?
Empathy.
Oh,
okay?
I was right. Let's go.
Empathy is being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Here's what happens when you have empathy. You can't steal somebody's stuff, okay? You can't have 3 different girlfriends at the same time because of what it does to the other 2, okay?
Man, some NFL players did not listen to that one right there.
And then you guys know, like you hear it in the news all the time, right? There's violence that happens, right? Whether it's domestic violence, all those different things. When you have empathy, it makes it impossible to do that stuff because you put yourself in these other people's shoes and go, I can't do that. So anyway, that's a whole world of its own, okay? Spiritual, I promise you this one doesn't grow unless you invest.
And obviously, again, they're at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, so faith is going to be a big portion of this quarterback coaching school and everything like that. But obviously, if you're a faith-based person, I think that that's something you obviously do need to grow. It's going to be a part of you for the rest of your life, so might as well grow it.
Unless you invest, unless you commit to allowing God to change who you are, change your life, okay? This one I had to learn the long, hard way.
Which is crazy he's saying that. Hopefully he expands on it because his family is apparently very much involved in faith. I believe his dad was a pastor and all that other stuff. So he's always kind of been involved. So maybe he didn't embrace it until he got older. That's possible. Again, hopefully he adds on to this because just in case you guys don't know, these reaction videos, I do them way beforehand. I don't watch the video. I don't do anything. I'm reacting real time just for y'all right here on Well Coverage.
Okay, my spiritual journey took me until I was like 33 years old to really figure it out. I had 2 kids and I was married. I was a deadbeat dad and I was a horrible husband. Okay, and it was because I had never invested here. Okay, my social relationships were all about me. I didn't really take time to learn what it took to be a good husband and a good dad. Okay, even though I had a good dad and all that. I hadn't invested in myself, so all of a sudden, in these areas,
It's interesting that he doesn't touch the physical one because obviously being involved in sports, he's always tried to keep up that part, so that's the one part that he really focused on. So that's really interesting.
My marriage, my life was in just a wreck, and then that put me back to ground zero. Okay, my wife and I had to start over all the way at the bottom after being married for 9 years, guys. And I just say that because these are the things to think about every day. Okay, here's what David did. He walked down, got away from the crowd, went down to the creek. Okay, where's your creek at? Do you guys ever just have any space in your life where you just sit and think about what you're going to do? Remember how we sat in there and just kind of thought about what do I want to get better at today? Just had a clear thought about that. Do you guys practice that?
That's interesting. It's like a visualization of like what you want to accomplish and stuff like that. From what I've heard, it really helps people. So
good. The more that you put yourself in those situations, the more fruit you're going to see come out of these different areas. He walked down to the creek and he picked 5 perfect stones for his sling that fit him.
Oh, that explains the 5 stones. Okay.
We're all different, okay? We come in all different shapes and sizes, right? What's the saying? It takes all kinds, right? All of us. And for you to sit and learn who you are, to learn where you're at in all these areas, so that when it gets tested, you're made of the right stuff, okay? You're made of that stuff, okay? There's all kinds of different comparisons in the football world that we can talk about, we can come up with forever. That's what I love about football, right? Football teaches you everything you ever need to know about life if you're looking, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, right? So anyway, that's the 5 stones model, so that when you reach down, and you need one. Okay, when you reach down, you need to be fit. You need to be strong. You need to be fast. Oh man, if I would have just hit the track a little bit more. Oh, if I would have just hit the weights a little bit harder. Oh, if I would have spent a little bit more time stretching. Oh, if I would have not eaten so much junk, you know. When you get tested here, man, if I'd have spent a little bit more time in the Word, if I'd have spent a little bit more time in prayer, take those regrets out by just taking some time, picking out those stones, making sure that they're in your pouch here, so that when you need to use them, you reach down, they're ready. Because life's not going to wait for you. Life's not kind that way. We're constantly being tested with opportunities to grow. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. That's the conversations I have on Saturday night before our Sunday games. That's our Saturday night with the wideouts for 3 years, the quarterbacks for the last 2. And then I'll stop and I'll ask you guys questions. And you guys are my players right now. So this is kind of what we do.
A shout out to Nixon Pro, I believe. I was able to find this online. Again, he spoke at the FCA of Middle Tennessee. Just a great organization trying to get more youth involved in sports and, of course, involved in faith. My name is Nick. This has been Real Coverage. Just in case you guys want to subscribe, man, we got socials right there. Joined all the podcasting platforms, so make sure to go follow us and subscribe over there. But I just appreciate y'all rolling with us today, learning more about who Dave Canales is in part 8 right here. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.